Hey, John. So nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
This is Crystal.
Crystal, how you doing, John? Good to see you.
Let's take, I was going to take you a quick tour around the office.
Whatever you...
Well, indeed. So I understand you're from Jersey.
Yeah.
How does it look to be at this altitude to kind of see your home state?
Yeah, so it's kind of humbling. I've never had a chance from this vantage point, other than, maybe when I was flying in a plane and leaving Newark Airport, to kind of see it. And it's grown quite a bit. But, standing here to think about everything that's happening not only in the Jersey side, but just right below us in Manhattan, boy, I don't know how you get work done. I would stand here all day just kind of in awe.
It's a pretty remarkable view. Nothing quite like from space, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Growing up in Jersey City, never thought I'd have the chance to do the things that I do today. A couple months ago, I was testifying in front of Congress. If you knew me back then, you would not have said that was going to be a good idea.
Can you talk about some of the perceptions people have about who joins Space Force and what qualifications or background they have?
I want thousands to see themselves wearing this uniform. So I don't want to leave any talent on the table thinking, I can't walk into that office to talk to the recruiter, but that's not for me. That's a little bit of the journey that I'm on right now. When you look at the other services, initially they're not so much, I don't think they're worried about branding or explaining what a Marine does, what an airman does, what a sailor does, what a soldier does. But there's a little bit of a, hey, what does a Guardian do? Kind of what does that look like? Because we're primarily what we call employed in place, which means that men and women across the world are doing their combat mission every single day. So like right now, out at the 18th Space Defense Squadron out of Vandenberg Space Force Base, there's a specialist, Connor Deek, right? He's a specialist 3 in the Space Force. And he's doing space domain awareness, right? He is monitoring over 44,000 objects that are orbiting the globe, right? And he's making sure that, right, there's safety of flight, that if he has to, he's working there with representatives from NASA, right, to say, hey, something may hit the International Space Station, right? We sent over 1,400 messages to NASA last year for the ISS alone. That's the kind of work, right, that we're looking to get Guardians to do. That's their combat wartime mission, doing it from the Central Coast of California. So to your point, messaging that, make sure they understand it's a different type of service, military service, but just so vitally important to the joint force and to our allies. And shaping that message, getting that communication out there is something that we're focused on right now.
In your experience, what do you think makes someone want to join the Space Force specifically? What is the appeal?
So I think in my estimation, someone asked me recently, what am I excited about as being a Guardian in the Space Force? Aside from the threat, the national security threat, our mission as a service is to protect our nation's interests in, from, and to space, security's interests in, from, and to space. When you think of that mission statement, right, that means the space economy, that means space exploration, that means science, right? Our lives every day are impacted and touched by space, and there's so much potential going forward. Space tourism, right? Think about where we are. NASA, right? We're planning to go back to the moon to have a permanent presence to eventually get us to Mars through the Artemis program. As a service to secure the domain to make sure that dreamers who are thinking up these things that get us to the next evolution, right? They can do the things that they're doing. To be part of that journey with them as a military service, to me, is really exciting. One of the models when we talk about the commercial space strategy is, how do we maximize what we have today? How do we buy what we can and only have to build what we have to? And that's kind of a philosophy, which is a very different philosophy than we've had previously in the past. So I think it's another opportunity for us to move faster and deliver to the nation to be able to do the things they expect us to do. And so right now we have airmen and recruiting Guardians. So my advice, right, for individuals who are interested in joining the Space Force, how you prepare for that? First, go to maybe spaceforce.com, right? And read about the opportunities that we have, what makes us unique as a service. And then connect with a recruiter and talk to them about, hey, I'm interested in the Space Force. What are the eligibility requirements? How do I prepare to do that? Now, there's obviously some physical activities that, like the other services, are all very concerned to make sure that, the age of population that is eligible to serve are healthy enough, not that we send them to basic military training and then they kind of struggle, whether we use watches or not. We still need a healthy service, healthy men and women to be able to do that. But part of it is to be prepared to think outside the box, right? To embrace empowerment, to embrace change, to be able to think critically. Those are the things, like if you're trying to wrap your head around, okay, I want to join the Space Force, how do I prepare for that? That's how you prepare. You got to start thinking differently in order for the kind of be on this team, because that's what we need for the Guardians of the future, right? To be innovative and bold problem solvers is one of the initiatives under Amplifying the Guardian Spirit that General Saltzman put out there. And those are the types of men and women that we need joining the service today.